I kind of like that name. Volume.
Hey guys, welcome to the channel. If you're new, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more Marvel Snap content. Now, the OTA has hit a while ago. It's been a few days by now, and the meta to me hasn't changed at all. It feels very much the same, especially with this Hela deck running around. I still see this deck everywhere, and it's frustrating because I'm sick of seeing Hela. And I wanted to talk about why this deck is so annoying to go against, and I think I've narrowed it down to a few reasons. Howard the Duck and Iron Lad are the reasons why this deck is so annoying. The consistency of this deck is stupid because you have Howard the Duck scouting the top of your deck, and then you can just play Iron Lad whenever you spot the card that you want to copy, right? So you would essentially, if you see Star Lord at the top of your deck and you have Iron Lad ready to go, and you spot it with Howard, you would snipe yourself a second Star Lord. You could also snipe yourself technically snipe yourself a Modoc that way. That way, Hella's easier to play on that last turn because ideally you'd play Hella with Modoc because of Star Lord's energy. It helps the consistency of that. You also have Blink. Blink is really annoying right now with her being able to swap out herself for something that's stronger. So swap the last card you play with the card that costs more from your deck. So ideally you're aiming up here when you play her because you'd play Hella or whatever it is, or maybe Giganto. You'd play Blink and you just snipe something bigger, right? So it's really frustrating because this deck is just really hard to beat because whenever you do the full combo, you pop your Star Lord after turn 5 or whatever it is, get all that energy, you play Hella Modoc if and you play actually I mean do it the right way. You play Modoc, then you play Hella on top of the Modoc or whatever it is. That way you can discard your whole hand and bring everything back to the field, and every zone is just massive. It's actually really frustrating. It's so frustrating. So this deck's just kind of like a cancer to the game right now, and I don't know what they're going to do. I can't be like, oh, yeah, they're going to nerf all these cards. They already nerfed Fing Fang Foom. They already nerfed Star Lord. I think Fing Fang Foom is still due another nerf. I think Star Lord is in a better place now. Um, he might get one more nerf, but it's the same thing for Xiao Lao. Xiao Lao never got a second nerf. To be fair, Xiao Lao isn't seen as much these days, but the energy manipulation is the issue with this deck, is that you just cheese the energy out to play Hella with Modoc, which is just too much energy to even stop. And then you lose because they're summoning all these big units, because why not? Fig Fang Foom wins his location. Death with with either Giganto or the other guy is just too big to really contest. It's just a big problem. I see multiple variations of this deck and it always ends the same. Modoc into Hella into GG's. And it's frustrating. It's honestly really frustrating because I don't even want to talk about this deck. I'm just tired of seeing it. I'm tired of this thing existing. I wish it would just go away. It's just ruining my experience personally. So, if you want to win next season, this is probably the best deck to do it because they're probably not going to be nerfing it for another 2 weeks or whatever it is. So if you want to win, farm this deck. It's just a free win every time. It's just a free win. It's too consistent. Now that being said, moving away from that, I've been experimenting with my own deck on the side because I don't want to run Fing Fang Boom or whatever. Or I don't want to run Hella. I've already had a deck similar to that one, and I ran it. It was pretty good. It wasn't as good. It was a little inconsistent because I don't have all the pieces, but it was pretty good. And then that got me thinking, I kind of like Chamber. So I've been running this deck, which is, let me pull it up in game. It'd be probably easier to see it right here, which is my Chamber deck. I'm a huge fan of Chamber. I think Chamber is one of those cards that's really hard to play around because you have to utilize big things in your deck. And it's not as easy as just just run 5 or 6 big things. Your deck won't flow that nicely if you do that. However, in a zombie deck where you have Zombie Gigantic Man, or Zombie Giant Man, Xiao Lao, you can kind of fit in the last 3 pieces, which you can Armazola, because Armazola works with Zombie Giant Man. You can technically manipulate that. You can also use Taskmaster to do the same thing with Zombie Giant Man. And you can also just use Fing Fang Foom because you have Hope Summers and you can kind of cheese that extra energy if you just really want to win a location. So this deck kind of has been flowing really nicely. Actually, I should pull up the other page because it has the win rate on it. And I haven't played it all that much, but it's been really kind of flowing nicely. Because even if you open your hand with just Chamber and like, or just with big things, Chamber can just take that and to his advantage. So we've played 6 games, lost one. We have an 83% win rate. It's not bad for 6 games. That's not bad. So even if your hand is overloaded, let's say hypothetically you open your hand and it's got Zombie Giant Man, Shao Lao, Think, whatever it is. Chamber doesn't mind because you play Chamber and he's +8, +10, and he's just really good. And then you can just Armazola the Chamber if you need to. Worst case scenario. You can also have access to Kitty Pride and Lockheed, which is just some of my favorite combos, with enough cheap cards like Wing Beat, the Hunger to make it work. And then of course you have your core cards, which would be for the zombie stuff, which is Scarlet Witch and Zombie Giant Man. Now, unfortunately, I'm not a big fan of all these zombie cards. When it comes to Mr. Fantastic, I don't really care for him in this deck. When it comes to, I think Sentry could work. I don't have him, but I think Sentry could work. Zombie Sentry, that is, because of how he plays. I think he'd be okay. On reveal, Horde +1 for each of your cards at the right location. This actually might work in this deck, pretty well actually, just because like you could stack your right side and then just boom, play Zombie Sentry. There's also Zombie Power Man. And a turn, if you're winning here, discard the leftmost card in your hand. It's not really for zombies, so maybe not this guy. There are other zombies, though, I'm pretty sure, that might work. Maybe. I know Sentry might. Mr. Fantastic, well, he's not the worst. He's just, I don't really like him. I think he's pretty bad in this deck. We have Zombie Captain Marvel, which is more for Phantom X decks than it is for the zombie decks. Like, it's a little weird. And then we have Zombie Galacti, which I don't think works in this deck. So, like, you're limited to, like, just realistically a Sentry at the end of the day. Zombie Sentry, if you wanted to run Zombie Sentry in this deck, you could probably fit him in here and rework the deck to be focused around manipulating your Horde instead of, just getting big on the board in different ways. Like, you have access to Shao Lao to make Kitty Pride big. You can also make your Zombie Giant Man bigger. You have access to Shao Lao making Chamber bigger, I guess, if that's what you want to do. Like, Shao Lao kind of just works in this deck because you play double stack things a lot of times. Like, most of the time you're playing Kitty Pride plus something else. And then when you get Hope Summers down, you can really start stacking and ramping that energy. So it does seem to work pretty decently with this guy. I usually get him between 9 and 12 power, at highest 15 if I have a really good game. But 9 and 12 power is a lot of power to be passing around, so it seems to work really well. You can also put Shuri in this deck. I thought about it, and Shuri plus Kitty Pride could be really good, especially if you get your Kitty Pride pretty good. You could play Shao Lao early, give her like +9 or maybe +6 power on top of whatever she is, and just double down on her power. It would be more effective that way if you wanted to play an early Shao Lao into a Shuri. It would be pretty powerful. Or if you want to play your Shao Lao on the Shuri to stack his power up to 12 to then pass Kitty the power, it would probably work pretty consistently. So Shuri is definitely an option that you can look into for maybe cheesing this deck's power a little bit, because right now the meta, unfortunately, is just getting as big as possible with stuff like this. Things that you cannot control. You can't counterplay this deck because the person playing this deck doesn't really play that much. They play Howard the Duck. They search. They kind of just search the top of their deck and play Iron Land when the right time is there. And then from there, it snowballs out of control because either Iron Lad is the Star Lord, or Iron Lad is like I think Boom, right? It's just super annoying. and then you also have to deal with the MODOK hella finisher that happens every game. It seems like it's just MODOK is played, hella flips up, and it's just like, well, their whole field's 40 plus power. It's just kind of GG's, right? So icky. This is just not fun to fight. I don't know how they go about like stopping this deck. Like, I don't want to see more cards get nerfed, but like this combination of cards is really starting to irk me personally. So that's why I've been kind of playing the other deck to see if I can contest it. Now, unfortunately, I haven't actually gone against that many Hella decks since I've played this deck. Not saying I haven't gone against any. I'm not sure I'm not 100% sure. But this deck does get pretty big. And since it does get pretty big, that means you can kind of maybe contest that other deck if you focus on 2 locations. A lot of this comes down to field manipulation with your whatever's on the field. Ideally, Bar Sinister is like the best thing ever for like the hunger. You can stack a plus 15 horde on the spot right there. You can also, play Giant Man on that spot afterwards and really get a big Giant Man out. We like Bar Sinister in like every deck we play or I play. So like Bar Sinister is always welcome. Horde +1 is also really good for this deck because you're already getting Horde going, so it works for this deck. Even though it's like the rarest field ever, I hardly ever get Horde +1. So it works. Now, when it comes to next season, I don't know if this deck will be as easily able to hit infinite as the last one that I built. I did hit infinite with my other zombie deck this season, which was this one. It's very, very slightly changed. That you can kind of, you might be able to spot the differences here. Rogues in the deck, Prowlers in the deck, Agonies in the deck. I kind of just took those 3 out. Also, Magic's in the deck. I just kind of took those 3 out, and I threw in Chamber, Armazola, Taskmaster, and Fing Fang Foom. I went bigger with it. Instead of going more like annoying with it with tech cards, I just went bigger because the meta just allows you to go bigger. It punishes you less if you go bigger. Hope Summers is a self-efficient energy unit where you can just, cheat her by placing Kitty on it with the hunger, with the master, with Wing Beat. You can really cheese out Hope Summers, especially in like turn 4 and turn 5. You can really cheese her out and just stack Zombie Scarlet Witch with Hope Summers together and just smack Kitty Pryde down, smack something else down next to her, and just like really cheese out that extra energy to really have a big bang for your last turn. And then like the win condition just really is up to like how your field's looking. Ideally, if possible, you do want to keep your zombie horde on its own little platform because Zarmazola will cut it into 2, and if you play Giant Zombie Man, he'll hit both piles. And it's kind of interesting how that like plays off each other. Or if you just like want to go for a different ending, you just play Fing Fang Foom and hope that your other zones are fine because you have Chamber or Giant Zombie Man already played and you're already pretty big there. And then Fing Fang Foom is just like your finisher. Just like wherever he goes, you win the field. Yeah, this meta just kind of sucks. I'm not gonna be honest. It's not a meta about going wide. It seems it's a meta about going tall and big and just controlling multiple fields through small front rows, big back rows. And I don't like this meta. I think this meta is very toxic, very annoying to play, and not really accessible to a lot of decks that want to grind it. Even though we're going to a new season soon, I just don't see the season being that fun because I don't think the cards that are coming in are going to be as strong as the current ones that are being played, which are Fing Fang Foom and then Star-Lord. And Hela. Like Hela is so Hela is so important right now in this meta. So I don't know. We'll see how the new season pass card does. I should have some codes to give out hopefully soon. And yeah, I just wanted to talk about this shitty meta that the game is in. I think the meta is just kind of not in a good place, and it's kind of irking me a little bit. So let me know what you guys think. Are you happy where the meta is? Are you kind of like whatever what the meta like? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching. Thanks for like hearing me out and listening to me vent while trying to come up with interesting, fun solutions to beat the meta. And this is the closest thing I've gotten so far that has been pretty successful, but isn't perfect. It is kind of RNG reliant depending on like what your opening hand is, which is why I like Chamber so much because he can kind of help alleviate the bad hands. If you have nothing but big things, he kind of helps get pretty big on the field. You have enough big things in this deck to where he can be pretty sizable, like between 8 and 10 power. The biggest I've had him is 15, but it's not from this deck. It's from another deck. The biggest I've had him in this deck is like plus 10. So yeah. Yeah, Chamber. He's pretty cool. I might make a video on him soon because he's become one of my favorite cards. Really cool card. It sucks that he got nerfed. Even though he got nerfed, he's still really strong. Man, such a cool card. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.